Cherry Chocolate Mead. Was it good? What was the secret ingredient?
Hi, I'm Brian.
I'm Derica, and today...
The Cherry Chocolate Mead gets its final secret ingredient, and we're going to taste it. So anyway, this is that mead that we made on February 27th. Today is March 27th, by the way. 1 month, just like I said. Don't rack too soon. I just let it sit for a month. It's okay. This is the cherry juice from Tabletree Juice, and this is the honey that also came along with that from their neighbor too. Whew. Crazy stuff, right? Use some of the best stuff on earth to make this. This better be good. The pressure's on. We have not tasted this yet. We have no idea what this is going to come out like. Well, we know what it's going to come out. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rack it into a pitcher. Then we're going to degas. Then we're going to take a reading, taste it, move on from there. So, as we always do, we put it on something to elevate the bottle. Notice the... Anyway, so we just put it up a little higher because that's how siphoning works. It's kind of a gravity feed. So I'm going to remove the lid. And I'm doing this all kind of carefully because I don't really want to disturb the lees that's on the bottom here. And it's kind of a thick, deep, dark liquid, so you can't really see it. So I don't want to have it floating all over the place. I'm just going to put that in there. Derica's going to submerge that a little bit into the liquid and get the siphoning started. Usually just takes a few pumps. Got to fill that whole thing up with liquid, and then it'll go on its own. And we get our first smell. It smells like cherry pie.
It does, yeah.
Which is what the juice itself tastes like. By the way, on this juice, I just want to say a little bit more. It's marketed as a health product, not really just a juice, because it's actually, a little bit on the pricier side compared to buying a big old vat of juice at your local grocery store. And I have been taking it according to Gary and Susan's instructions, just an ounce a day. Most days it's actually a little more than an ounce because it's really good stuff. But I take it just before bedtime. One of the things that we found out is that there is a little bit of melatonin in it, which helps you sleep, and it actually has helped me sleep quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's working really well for that.
Brian normally would take melatonin in pill form.
But it makes me groggy in the morning.
Right. So drinking the cherry juice, he doesn't have to take the melatonin in pill form. He sleeps good, and he feels fine in the morning.
Yeah. Also, it's supposed to help with aches and pains and like arthritis and things like that. I can't say it's 100% yet, but if I had to guess, yeah, I think I have a little bit less joint pain than before I started taking it. It's only been about maybe 2 to 3 weeks that I've been doing it regularly, so I don't want to speak too soon. I'm just going to tilt this so we get more volume towards the siphon. But anyway, I just wanted to give a little plug on that this stuff is really good, and it does seem to be having the effect that it's intended to have. And I know that doesn't sound like a glowing recommendation, but it actually is, because think about it. This is cherry juice from a natural source, all natural, no preservatives, no chemicals, none of the stuff that I hate in this. It's a natural product that is actually helping to do things that normally you need pills and special medications to be able to do. That's huge. So even though it doesn't sound like I'm saying that, it is huge, because I've only been on it for about 3 weeks now. I can't make that actual determination to say it's absolutely doing this, but I think it is. That's why I just want to give a little plug to Tabletree. Now we stopped that because, as you can see, there's some sludge in the bottom of this. That's called lees. Now, I love to give it a smell, and the first thing that I smelled right off the bat was I got the cherry, and I got a little bit of an alcohol smell. So this might be a little stronger than I think. May I have the metal spoon of degassment? This is the official degassing tool of City Steading now. I have a degassing wand, but it's supposed to work with a drill, so I just felt kind of silly using it without it. And it's plastic. I really don't like plastic. I just, don't want to use plastic. And then I started using a wooden spoon, but that's porous and can attract bacteria and stuff, can get in there and it can be bad. So we have the metal spoon of degassment. What is degassing? Some of the byproducts of the fermentation process are gases and alcohol. One of those gases being CO2, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is bitter. If you leave it in there, it can make a bitter flavor on things. But carbonation can actually make something taste lighter and almost sweeter. For this mead, I don't want carbonation. I don't want it to be effervescent. I don't want bubbles. I want flat. So I'm going to stir it to get rid of all those bubbles and take the CO2 out of suspension. There are a lot of ways to do this. There's filters and there's this and that. Stir it with a spoon. It's easy. Doesn't even look like there's a lot in there. Okay, there was not a lot of bubbling from this. Not a lot of foaming at all. So after just a couple minutes, I'm done. I'm good. We can put that back in there. Next thing I want to do is take a reading on this. Actually, the next thing I want to do is taste this because it smells incredible, but I'm going to take a reading anyway. So as we always do when taking a reading, our baster and flip water all over the place and a graduated cylinder. I'm using a 100 ml graduated cylinder because that way I don't use up too much. It doesn't take me all day to fill the thing, and you don't need much for a reading, really. Okay, got this full. I'm going to take my hydrometer. You have one of these, right? If you don't, get one. It will help you so much in your brews. And if you have a problem or a question, you can always say, hey, Brian, I have this gravity and it's at this gravity now, and what did I do wrong and how do I fix it? But if you don't have those gravity numbers and you just say, hey, I made this thing and it's not working. What did I do wrong? I can't help. Anyway, so I'm going to drop this in. I'm reading on it. Whoa. Looks like 1.002. So this is probably going to be pretty much on the dry side. But we knew that when we made it because it had a little bit of a lower gravity. It started out at 1.104 and it finished at 1.002, which makes it dry. This is a dry mead. It's not such a bad thing because we might be able to step feed this some more honey to get it up to a sweetness level that we want if we don't like it the way it is. Only one way to know that. What I find really interesting is the color change. I'm gonna just hold off on that for a minute. The color change, right off the bat, it's not as deep red as the original juice, which tells me that it fermented, because that's almost always the case, except with black currant. It stays black. But anyway, right off the bat, ooh, the smell, it's like, oh, I'm gonna let her smell it first and say what she smells, because I smell something in there that I think is very interesting that I've never smelled in a mead before. Now, I've made cherry mead before, as you all know. Let's see if she can figure out what it is.
I smell honey, cherries, and cinnamon. Now, I know they add cinnamon to their cherry juice, so that might be just my brain, but...
It's something you would never think is going to be in this that I smell. Okay, I'm going to say a word. I want her to think of something. Think Ardbeg.
Oh, peat.
Yeah, it almost smells peaty.
It almost smells peaty, and the...
It smells like cherry scotch. It's
if
so
you
awesome.
love scotch, like
Oh my god.
we do, there's a peat smell that isn't the smoky peat so much, but the sweet, earthy peat.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
that's
getting.
the scent
Yeah,
that...
it mixes with the cherry beautifully. I'm wondering
it's
if
a
that's
sweet,
from the
earthy-
cacao.
It could be.
I'm going to give it a taste. Right now, I'm getting a lot of alcohol. And I know this is like 13% or something like that, maybe like 13 to 15%. So it's up there for alcohol. I do get a little bit of the chocolate flavor. I do get just a hint of the cherry flavor. It's green. Let's be honest, it's green. It's also as close to dry as you can get without being like dry.
I think
But it's more pleasant than I would have expected a dry mead to be.
Cacao is giving it almost a coffee feel.
Yeah, they're related. We don't like dry mead. I will just say that right now. This I could actually drink as it is, only 1 month in. However, it's not finished yet. We do plan to age this, and there's a secondary fermentation and another ingredient going into this still.
And tasting this now, I'm thinking the other ingredient
It's gonna mellow this
is gonna make
it
this
so amazing.
nice, because it's already got kind of a creamy mouthfeel.
Yeah. It's got a great body already, which a lot of times dry ones might not. This one really does. Most things when they go dry like this, to me, taste kind of watery and just like there's nothing there. This has something to it.
It's definitely different from anything
Oh, yeah.
that we've made before, and it doesn't have the cough syrup.
That's what I was just going to say. A lot of people were concerned that using the sweet cherry juice, we were going to end up with a cough syrup. No, not at all. There's definitely a cherry essence here.
Yeah.
And there's definitely like, it's the tannins from the cacao, not so much a chocolate flavor that I'm getting.
Right.
Which is interesting to me. But we're going to move on to the next phase. What I'm going to do is reveal the secret ingredient.
It's not the pitcher.
No, it's not. It's not the knife. It's this thing. A black worm. No. It is a Madagascar vanilla pod. Now, why Madagascar? Because that's what I found cheapest on Amazon that looked like good quality. I paid a little extra to get good quality rather than just a whatever. And oh my God, it smells amazing. That is incredible. Now, I've read a lot of different things on how to use vanilla bean pods in meads. Some people say, oh, you just toss them right in. Some people chop them up. Some people throw it in the blender. I'm not sure about that. Other people split it. Now, here's the thing. If you split this, you're going to get little tiny vanilla seeds into your brew. I don't really have a problem with that because all I got to do is when I siphon it next time, put a little bit of cheesecloth on the end of the tube and it takes all that right out. So, not a problem. The cheesecloth will not take your lees out, but it will stop all the larger seeds. So all I'm going to do is just take this knife and I'm going to split this bean as best I can without cutting my hand off. Somebody out there is cringing at the way I hold the knife and do stuff I just don't. And split it all the way up this way. I'm going to take those two halves, I'm going to drop them right into the secondary fermenter. Now you'll notice the secondary fermenter is significantly smaller than the primary fermenter, and that's because while headroom in primary is okay, headroom in secondary is no. So I'm figuring this might not even fill this. Okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to now rack that back over because we've degassed, we've measured, we've tasted. Alright, and just like before, she puts it into the liquid. Now we know there's no lees on the bottom, so she could just put it in there and put it all the way to the bottom. Why would we put it into this, then into here, you might ask? Because this has a nice wide area to be able to degas for taking readings and measurements and all that sort of thing. This is a much smaller opening, much better to keep oxygen out, but a little bit harder to work with. So I just rack it twice. And now we wait. Here we have all put back in. I'm going to take my fancy schmancy label, also known as masking tape with all my notes on it, and I'm going to put this back on. Then I'm going to take a bung, which has been sterilized. She's going to, well, sanitized, not sterilized. Sanitized. I'm going to put it back in. It's going to go under the desk. How long? Yeah, you know, that's a really good question. To me, this one, I think, needs some good aging. It really could use with a couple months. This is a pretty traditional type of mead, meaning it's not made to be super drinkable within a month. So maybe a couple months, and then we'll try it again. And we'll do a video on it at that point.
Remember, we did do an addition here. We added the vanilla pod, so we do want to give it at least enough time for the vanilla to...
I would say a month.
Yeah.
And it might come out like a cherry vanilla mead, and that's okay. We were talking about it while we were off camera a little bit, that to me, I'm not bothered by this the way it came out because it tastes like a dry red wine, which lately I've started to appreciate drier red wines.
Particularly with food pairing.
Yeah, she said it would go good with steak.
As it is right now, I think it would go great with steak or pork or...
But it's totally drinkable now, which is a weird thing for mead. I don't know. Our meads just tend to be drinkable sooner. This one's very dry, so I might wait a while. And I might actually step feed this. We'll have to see. I want to give it a month, probably, maybe 2. Then we'll taste it again and see what we want to do. We might make other additions. We might add juice. We might add more honey. We might add cinnamon. We might add... We could do anything. That's the secret. That's the fascination that we have with this hobby, is that you can do anything you want. But now I'm just rambling. So if you like this video, give us a like. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.